Who's there?
Tony. It's Joe Riggs.
Joe? Joe? Joe Riggs? Joe! What are you doing here?
That's a warm welcome for an old friend. What's it been, 6 years?
Yeah.
Besides, you're the one who called me. Called my office last week. I was out of town. You talked with my assistant, Julia. Any of this ringing a bell?
Yeah, I remember now. Look, yeah, come on in, Joe. It's a bit of a mess.
Hey man, are you okay? There must be a lot happening in your life right now.
Happening, whatever.
Well, clearly we've got some catching up to do. Evidently, the sooner the better. Sometime like the present, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Man, Tony, I'm sorry we haven't talked in a couple of years. I trained as a psychiatrist. Government hired me. A lot of travel. Classified stuff.
Really?
Yeah, surprise, right? But we all can't be physical security professionals now, can we?
Yeah. Well, not anymore, anyway.
Tony, what's going on? You seem worried, distracted. Talk to me.
Yeah. I don't know if I should say anything. Well, maybe I should be talking to you.
Of course. We're friends. I mean, we haven't seen each other for a couple of years, but we can always talk about anything. Excuse me. Yeah, Julia.
Hey, just checking in with you. I'm on my way into the office. Were you able to find Tony's apartment okay?
Yeah, thanks. I'm talking to him right now.
Okay, sounds good. I guess I'll see you in a few. Oh, and Billingsley called. He's going to need that report by tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Julia. I'll catch you back at the office in a little bit.
Okay.
Obviously you're a busy guy.
Yeah. Look, I've been speaking with people who need help for several years now, and I've got the time. And you look like you need a listening ear.
Look, Joe, look, we've been able to talk about stuff before. I mean, anything, but this is, I just don't want to burden you, man.
Start from the beginning always works.
I appreciate that, Tony. It's been a while since I've had a listening ear. It just, somebody I can trust. It's just, so much has happened, and it's not good, Joe. It's just certain things that I haven't told anybody before.
Tony, look, you know I've got your back, right? Just try to relax. Take it step by step. Tell me about it.
It all goes back to when I was about 8 years old. Joe, it's so much, a lot of abuse, Joe. Emotional, physical. Been trying to keep quiet about it for a long time. It's just, I guess it started to get the better of me. It started affecting my behavior, what I can handle and what I can't. Things that most people take for granted, I can't seem to do anymore. Look, when I was about 8 or 9, that was my first memory of traumatic event. Drink. I was enrolled in a judo class by my dad. Seems simple enough, right? Just being a kid should have been a blast. But the reality was, it was anything but. You see, I guess there was a class of 12 or 13 other students. Turns out I was the youngest person in the entire class. Made things a little bit awkward, to say the least. But the worst part was, there was one other guy in the class. He was a bit of a black sheep. He was about age 15 at the time. Almost twice my age and twice my size. Anytime the teacher wasn't looking, he'd punch me, kick me, call me a bunch of names. Started fearing for the worst. The other people in the class, they didn't seem to care if I were there, if I came, went, lived or died. I was the newest person and the youngest person, so they already all felt comfortable with each other, and they always had their partners for the workouts. Nobody wanted to have that monster. His name was John. Nobody wanted to work with him. So I got stuck with him all the time. Bad situation went to worse. That's when I first experienced my taste of physical abuse and bullying, I guess. But that was just compounded. Every day I couldn't just quit because my dad wouldn't let me. I mean, as you can imagine, as any sane kid would have done, I went to my dad to try to get help. I mean, what was I supposed to do against a guy that was twice my age and twice my size? I mean, I didn't have a handgun, and they didn't even have tasers invented back then. What the heck was he expecting me to do?
You feel like he should have been there for you?
Yeah, to say the least. I mean, not only did he not help me, but he actually wouldn't accept that I told him that I felt threatened by this guy and his bullying. I mean, he finally said a little something to him, but it wasn't enough. It didn't get the guy to stop. It just kept happening. So eventually, the only way I was able to get out of that situation, learning that my dad wasn't listening to my pleas, I had to come up with another reason besides the fact that this guy was physically beating me twice a week during this class. So I simply told him it just wasn't my thing. And after taking a little bit of a break from talking about my concerns and simply saying that, well, he finally said, okay, well, at least you gave it a shot. But that prolonged the abuse for probably a couple of months before I was able to finally get out of there. I had to lie just to be able to keep myself from being beat.
Yeah, that wasn't right. Your dad should have been more sensitive. Absolutely.
Well, then things kind of progressed from me learning from this first traumatic experience that my own father wasn't going to be very supportive.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry that happened.
That's when I realized that I not only couldn't even count on my own father to be a support, to be a source of a sanctuary for me. Just a couple years later, when I was 11, that's when I really got the taste of even more of just a time in my life when the realization comes upon you that it's possible to not only be physically and emotionally abused by other people, but by my own father too. I learned at a very early age I couldn't even trust my own father, Joe. So, just for self-preservation, I quickly had to learn. With my dad's temper, he was going to do what he was going to do anyway. So many more situations arose. It got to the point where I realized rolling the dice and just taking the gamble on a lie was a better situation than telling the truth knowing that he was going to whip my tail anyway. See, when we were growing up, we weren't just slapped on occasion or hit with a belt. No, Joe. That was too easy. You see, my dad used a bullwhip on us. I can't even describe what that feels like. That was my first taste, Joe. But it gets better. Oh yeah, it got better already. Just a couple years later, shortly after my 11th birthday, after I turned 11, Joe, I remember it vividly, just like it was happening yesterday. We were living in England. Our family, my brother and I, and my dad was in the Air Force at the time. Needless to say, my dad was a bit of a strict disciplinarian. I don't know why, Joe, but he seemed to be angry all the time. Able to just rage out at a moment's notice over the littlest things. Perhaps it was 2 tours he served in Nam. I don't know. Not that there's really any justification for it, but just trying to reason through things in my own mind. So anyway, when I was 11, a neighbor, he caught me, this neighbor, he caught me smoking in a dump area, a local dump area, and he told my dad. Well, when my dad asked me about it, I didn't have much time to think. And at the time he was asking me about it, I was standing along the side of a wall to a staircase that led up to where our bedrooms were. And right along this wall there was a coat rack that was above my head. That's how vividly I remember this. Man, Joe, I remember I backed up as far as I could against the wall. Maybe if I was Mike Tyson, I would have had a chance. And then it came. He hit me with a right hook with his fist on the side of my jaw. And then he made fists in both hands and came towards me. I stumbled backwards into the next room, into the living room area. And he was standing over me like about to really start wailing on me. I knew that if he fell through with that, I would have never seen my 12th birthday. I'd have been dead, Joe. Dead. And I remember hearing my mom screaming, "Stop! Stop! Don't hit him!" I think that's the only reason why I'm still alive today, Joe. I thought I was gonna die. think I was going to be able to trust my dad ever again. Having to hide from your own father. I remember there were many days that just before my dad would come home from work, my mom said, "Now go to your room. Just be very quiet. Don't make a sound." I never knew if my dad was already in a bad mood or if he was going to be placed in a bad mood in a moment's notice. Having to hide from your own father. And there were times at night when I would sit in bed, not able to sleep, or when I'd have a nightmare and I'd wake up, and I found myself, even inadvertently at times, putting my hands on my chest, almost as if to mimic a dead body in a coffin. Maybe that was part of my own self-preservation, ironically, where I was having a morbid, twisted sense of if I was just dead, it wouldn't happen anymore. It would stop.
Tony. But I'm here now. And we're going to do this. Whatever it takes. I'm going to keep listening. And we're going to get you some healing together. Now, it's going to be painful. In order for the process to continue, you're going to have to bring up some painful memories. Everything that's happened from then until now. But we're going to do this. We're going to do this together.
Joe, why did this have to happen?